Hey everybody, this week on Up Your Alley, we've got two great video game recommendations. First, I recommended for Jake the new indie game Neva, and Jake recommended for me the classic Half-Life 2, specifically the 20th anniversary collection with the commentary. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some more video game news. Jake went and saw Wicked, and I've got thoughts on a new Star Wars TV show. Jake, anything to add?
I just want to hold space for a second for Defying Gravity. Do you not know what that is?
No, I do. I was holding space. You ruined
that's
it.
Great.
That's the closing riff.
Goodbye, everybody.
I messed it up. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Up Your Alley. My name is Taylor Egger. Doing it strong for episode 101.
We're off for 2 weeks.
See what happens?
Things are in shambles.
We have been off for 2 weeks. That's my co-host, Jake Baggett. Say hi, Jake.
Hey, buddy.
We recorded episode 100 a week ahead of time, and I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. I did. Jake?
Yes, sir.
Good Thanksgiving?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Family food. What more do you need?
A lot of leftovers. Always too many leftovers. I did manage to talk my family into letting me just cook the turkey breasts because I was like, listen, no one here likes dark meat except for me, and I always end up throwing half of it away. So you could buy just the breast on the bone. And I was just like, just let me cook that for you guys because I don't feel like dealing with a whole turkey because it's just a whole lot for me to throw away. And I just feel wasteful. It looks nice coming out of the oven with the whole turkey.
You don't deep fry a turkey?
No.
That's the best way, man.
See, I've never done a deep fried turkey just because I think it's all sizzle. Like literally it's all sizzle. There's better ways to cook a turkey.
I mean, it's my favorite way so far that I've experienced, but the only other way that I've experienced it is oven.
Roasted, yeah.
Yeah.
So I did a test run. You know, I got my Traeger smoker.
Yes, right.
I did a test run of just the breast, brined it in a bunch of orange and black pepper overnight when salt and sugar brine, spatchcocked it, and then put it on the smoker. That was the best turkey I've ever had. But I was told specifically by my sister, who is all about presentation, she did not want smoked turkey for Thanksgiving. So I capitulated to give her the regular turkey that we ate half of, and then I used the rest for sandwiches later. But smoked turkey's fantastic. That's to say, I would
eat a smoked turkey, yeah.
It is a very important time of year right now. First of all, if you're listening to the show, please be sure to like and subscribe and do all that good social media stuff.
Call to action at the beginning of the show.
It's episode 101. I'm almost getting good at this. It's that time of year where we have the Spotify Wrapped, and we get one of those as creators too that I got a chance to look at. So that was interesting. Jake, how was your Spotify Wrapped with your top artists?
Oh, I bet you could guess my top artist.
I honestly don't think I could.
Okay. Well, it's been the same for the past every year that Wrapped has been a thing.
I'm going to say it's the Weaker Thans.
Ooh, no, but I have just started listening to them again.
Really?
I just listened to Fallow, and then I'm just working right down the discography again.
I literally have no idea what your top artist would be.
Gorillaz.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Just straight up Gorillaz?
0.05% top again.
Again?
Yeah.
So that's a running streak for you.
Yeah, oh yeah.
My kid was...
top, baby.
My kid was... it's her first year of having her own Spotify account. I got it for last February. They had a thing for like Valentine's Day.
I'm going to guess Taylor Swift.
Oh, yeah. She was top 4% for Taylor Swift. Her top ones were Taylor Swift... someone named Gracie Abrams, who I'm not sure who that is.
I know who that is. I don't know what their music is.
Olivia Rodrigo and a bunch of other stuff. Mine was interesting because I have my music that I listen to, but then I also have a playlist of songs that I could play with her in the car that she also enjoys. And that's kind of seeped into music that I like to listen to now. So my number one artist was Taylor Swift. And then it was...
way to sell it. Way to make sure that it's not because you enjoy it.
No. I do enjoy Taylor Swift.
And my daughter enjoy it.
No. I didn't say that. I do enjoy Taylor Swift, unironically. But it's just she had a compounding effect. Like if we're playing Balatro, she has a multiplier on her because... I'm listening to her and my daughter's listening to her when she's in the car with me. So it adds on. It stacks.
Calling it malt now, it's just crazy.
We'll talk about Balatro in a little bit. But my top five in order were Taylor Swift, Rancid, NoFX, Sabrina Carpenter, and The Hold Steady.
That's not bad, man.
So I'm like Sabrina Carpenter and Taylor Swift broke in between
Rancid? That's
NoFX
amazing.
and Rancid. Yeah, I mean, I listen to Rancid all the time.
Nice. I didn't think about that.
And Sabrina Carpenter, I listened to a lot when I took her to see the concert, and I was like, yeah, I should see if this is appropriate. And I listened to it, I was like, well, it's not really appropriate, but I already bought the tickets. And
I have on my liked playlist Civil Twilight from Weakerthans, right? From Reunion Tour, that album.
Yeah.
And I just listened to that for years. And it just dawned on me like a couple days ago that I haven't listened to that full album in a long time. So I re-listened to it, and I've re-listened to it about 3 times in a row. I freaking love it.
One thing I've noticed about the Wrapped is that apparently it counts if you just start playing the song. So there are some songs that I have on a playlist that start and then I always skip.
Yeah.
But the fact that they keep popping up on my playlist, like my number one most listened to song was Santa Monica by Everclear, which is a great song, and it's on my playlist. I put it on my playlist because when I picked it up and I was like, oh, I want to learn how to play this on guitar. So I put it on the playlist and started playing it on guitar, and then listened to it on guitar a bunch of times, just like starting and playing along with it.
Right.
So it just shot up through the charts. So now it's just like Spotify's like, you really love specifically this Everclear song. Not a lot of other Everclear songs, but this one specifically. Although it is a great song. I'm not gonna take anything away from it. But our numbers for creators, those were fun to look at. So it gives us other podcasts that people listen to. So this is just through Spotify. First of all, Spotify, we peek behind the curtain. We upload our podcast to Spotify for creators, which is a service that Spotify puts out. But they only let us see analytics for Spotify. YouTube's completely separate, but if you listen to this on any other audio platform that's not Spotify, we don't get to see those analytics. Oh. They tell us that only, I think, it hovers between 30 and 40% of people that listen to our podcast listen on Spotify. So there's a whole 70 to 60% of analytics we don't even know about. But Spotify knows about it, and they
just won't give us all of it.
Well, they're letting us use their servers too. So
thank you.
Yeah. So
the
top 3 other podcasts that Spotify listeners listen to. Do you want to take a stab at them?
I'm going to guess. Hello, mommy. It's me, your boy.
No. Is that a real thing, or are you just saying stuff? Okay, the top 2 podcasts I had never heard of.
Okay. What do you got?
Listeners and comments. Number 1 is a podcast called Very Really Good.
Very Really Good is Curtis Connors.
Dr. Kurt Connors, the lizard?
Curtis Connors.
The lizard.
The lizard.
Yeah.
He is a 23-year-old Canadian who's also the lizard.
Yeah.
No, I don't know how old he is. I just took a guess. But he's a YouTuber. He's pretty funny dude.
Yeah.
And he's got a podcast called Very Really Good.
Number 2 is the Blind Boy podcast. I have no idea what that is.
That one is news to me.
See, I figured you might know what these things are.
Blind Boy.
Should we Google it?
Go
Find
for
out
it.
what the Blind Boy podcast is?
Find out what the Blind Boy podcast is. Curtis Connor is really good. He does YouTube things. One of them, he just makes fun of like old TV shows, old movies.
Yeah.
Other TikTokers and stuff.
Blind Boy Podcast is a podcast hosted by Blind Boy Boat Club, an Irish artist, author, satirist, and music presenter. Is that? I wonder if that's any relation to our friend of the show, Bobby Fingers.
Bobby Fingers listens to the show, and then he goes and listens to an Irish podcast.
I mean, some recent episodes include a conversation with a professional who helps people die, history of Jaffa cakes, discussion of ratworm lung disease. I want to listen to Blind Boy Podcast.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in Blind Boy Podcast a little bit. Did it just jump from cakes to rat lung syndrome?
Yeah, man. I don't know what this is, but it's interesting.
Cool.
Well, that does kind of play into, we were streamed in 17 different countries last year.
What?
Yeah, on Spotify. Number 1, America, of course.
Just like in the world.
Yeah. Number 2 was Australia, and then it was UK, Ireland, and then Sweden.
They're hearing about us because we like Australian stuff.
Interestingly enough, our number 1 streamed episode last year didn't come out last year.
What?
Our number 1 streamed episode all of last year was episode 53 about Bobby Fingers.
Really?
So maybe it's the Blind Boy crossover.
Whoa.
Shout out to the Blind Boy Podcast boys.
Shout out to Bobby Fingers, man.
And Bobby Fingers.
Thanks for reaching out and saying hi.
Yeah.
That was cool of you.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know enough about Blind Boy Podcast. I assume they're good people.
We're going to listen to them. We're going to have a conversation about them.
We probably should. We should probably do a little rec just on them. Third most listened to podcast by our listeners was a young man named Joseph Rogan.
Big surprise.
Who has an experience podcast.
I understand who Joe Rogan is.
Haven't listened to much of him.
He's got the world's longest nipples. I saw that in his Wikipedia.
I think that's a TRT thing. It happens. But yeah, the really cool, interesting. Yeah, the Bobby Fingers episode was weird because that came out about December 8th, so a year ago.
That was probably my most excited one to listen to.
Well, I think it also picked up because for a while, since Bobby Fingers doesn't have that many videos, I noticed this on YouTube because I track the YouTube analytics as well. So when Bobby Fingers would put out a new video, that video would spike because YouTube was recommending our video talking about him because he only has like 7 videos out.
I see.
So he doesn't have that much. If you're going on a Bobby Fingers binge and you're watching all his videos, eventually we get kicked up in there too.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So the fun thing was it also lets you know if we're in your Spotify Wrapped, which is something I talked to Jacob about before the show started, something we want to do. So we were in the top 10 for 34 people. That's cool.
That's amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty cool for 2 dummies that just talk to each other about nonsense.
One smart guy, one dummy.
Yeah, I am pretty damn smart.
Oh, you took it.
Oh, I did. Like the smart guy would. We were in the top 5 for 24 people, and we were the number 1 podcast for 7 people.
That's amazing.
That's dope.
That is so amazing.
Suck it, Joe Rogan. Suck it in your long nipples.
He was number 2 for somebody.
And the Blind Boys. But so I thought it would be fun. So here's another call to action. We're on Instagram at upyouralleypod. If you don't follow us on Instagram, do that. Send us a DM or no, tag us on your Instagram for your Spotify Wrapped or whatever.
Yeah.
That shows that we're in your, we'll open it up at first to the top 5 people.
Yeah.
So if you're like in a top or number 1 podcast first.
What do you think about just the first 7?
Yeah. Okay. So if we're your top podcast, tag us.
Yeah.
And then we'll do ranked choice voting because I think that's a fun thing to do and we should do it more often.
There you go.
Wouldn't that be a great world?
This is how great ideas come about where we just bounce off each other like this.
So start out, if we're your top 1, I've ordered some prizes. So, or not really prizes. Thank you. They're like thank you prizes.
We got you a gift.
We got you gifts.
Yeah.
So tag us on social media if we were in your top podcast, and then I'll DM you, and then we'll get your address, and we want to mail you something.
Yeah.
So thank you for
We'll
listening.
give you a nice little gift.
That's pretty cool. Even if you're over in Ireland, I'll get it there.
Yeah.
If you're one of the Blind Boy
yeah.
boys, like if you're we're your top podcast, we'll give you something. We appreciate you
That's
guys
amazing.
listening. That's really cool.
I think that's your idea, and I think it's a great idea.
I think it's a great idea too. And Jake knows what those gifts are going to be. Jake, how do you feel about
this
those
is
gifts?
fantastic.
It's a great gift.
It's a good gift.
Yes.
Everybody should be happy.
This might count as it's not a violation of like gambling laws.
No.
It's the stuff that Mr. Beast got in trouble for, like sweepstakes violations.
Oh, I have no clue.
Yeah, but we're not making any money. So
No, we're not making any money. And we're not...
Is it illegal to try to give things away without getting anything in return, or is that just being nice?
No, we're just being nice.
Nice.
Because we're not even asking them for anything other than to tag us their photo.
Yeah. Yeah, but do that anyway. I think it'll be fun. So what we have made 2 references to already is the game Balatro or Balatro.
Balatro, yeah, that's how I pronounce it.
It's Balatro.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to try my damnedest. Probably won't ever get it right.
It's Latin for Joker.
No
Makes sense.
way.
Yeah. So if you don't know, Balatro is a roguelike poker game. I think we talked about it last
I've talked
episode.
about it a whole bunch.
And it's nominated for Game of the Year. I started playing it, and I've been playing it more than I should.
So I'm getting a little excited.
Yeah.
Taylor was one of the guys that was like, there's no way this game is Game of the Year.
Right.
Right? And then I said, play it. And then he did. And then he's like, this game is really good. I've been playing it nonstop.
So there's no real way to describe it other than it's just a poker roguelike, which sounds like nothing. But if you start playing it, it is one of the most well-made games in years. The music.
Yeah.
Just the sound design, like there's nothing on screen, but the music.
I can listen to that song.
You know what it sounds
for hours.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like the character select from original Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
I can feel you.
Like when you knock someone down in the pit, and then Reptile shows up. Yeah, it sounds like that. But the music like cuts in and out depending on if you're in the hand or not.
Yeah.
Just very subtle things, and it's incredibly well made.
What
game.
I heard about the music is Local Thunk got it off of Fiverr.
Really?
Yeah.
Good stuff comes off Fiverr.
Dude.
Our logo came off
Yeah,
Fiverr.
we got our boy Jimmy from it. It's interesting.
Yeah.
That it's up for like best original music too.
That guy
I think that's wonderful.
must be upset that he only got paid $25 off Fiverr.
I have no clue.
But yeah, the Game Awards are next Thursday, so I guess we won't talk about it next week's episode. We'll talk about it after that.
Sure.
I don't think it's going to get Game of the Year.
I think it should get Game of the Year by all statistics.
Metrics, yeah.
By all metrics, yeah,
There you go.
it should be a Game of the Year, considering it is a video game that you will play for hours and it's fun.
Yes. It's
The biggest thing is that people are going to be like, but it ain't got no actors, it ain't got no graphics.
Well,
and it's like, shut up.
It doesn't need those.
That's a movie.
It's I think it's going to, if it wins Game of the Year, I think it will win Game of the Year through protest votes.
Yeah.
People voting against the fact that Final Fantasy Remake and Elden Ring DLC were nominated.
Yeah.
And I think that's to the detriment of Manifesto, which I've not played, but everyone seems to
Metaphor?
like. Metaphor, whatever. Yeah. See, I really haven't played it. And I think it's mostly going to hurt Astrobot.
Got to watch my roommate play through Metaphor.
Yeah.
And the story gets really, really great. And the music is undeniable. That's probably my favorite music of the year.
Well, Astrobot makes music for me too.
Astrobot, I would love to see get Game of the Year.
I think if I would like to see Astrobot win because it's still my Game of the Year.
Yeah.
I think when we were talking last year at this time, looking at games we were looking forward to, I think we both said Haunted Chocolatier, which that's still not out yet.
Yeah.
But he's working on it, so that's fine. The Zelda game. Did you finish the Zelda game? I haven't finished it either.
Haven't even touched it.
It's fine. It's just it doesn't grab me. I think that's because of me. I don't really like that 2D Zelda as much. It's not the Zelda I grew up on.
I do like that, and I want to play it. I just kind of forget about it. And now, like, Fantasian just came out as of recording. It just came out today, and I'm going to play that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Astrobot's still my number one. I think Balatro might have knocked Helldivers for number 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And actually, something we're going to talk about.
Got a bit of a hankering to play Helldivers too. I'm not going to
Fucking
lie.
just text me, dude. I'll play Helldivers with you. Just text me whenever, and I'll stop what I'm doing. I'll put down Balatro and go play Helldivers.
I was going through my stuff on my computer, and I was like,
Fucking Helldivers,
I
man.
don't have to uninstall Helldivers. I can stay.
No. And actually, well, something I think we're going to talk about in a little bit might knock Helldivers down to number 4 for me, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. But
Half-Life 2 is that good, huh?
yeah, that's what it was. It was Half-Life 2. Something else that we talked about. You went and saw what is probably one of the biggest movies of the year.
Yep.
Wicked.
Wicked.
How was?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah?
I had a great time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Singing in the theater?
No.
No
Thank goodness. Very, very, very thankful.
What was the crowd like?
Very nice. Very nice people.
No, like full?
Yeah, full.
Yeah.
It was full. It was 8:30. It was full.
Oh, wow.
We watched the trailer for How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, I haven't seen a single one of those movies.
I haven't either. I'm not interested. I don't care.
I think that was the age of animated movies when we were too old.
Yeah.
See, I think there's people.
Well, it's just not interesting. I hear it's great, and I'm sure it is. But
I think there are people in their 20s that grew up with those movies that really liked them. It's like how there's a big resurgence in they're remaking Lilo and Stitch, and everyone's like, "Oh, finally, Lilo and Stitch!" And I was like, "Oh, I missed that. Like Lilo and Stitch was too young."
I missed that too, right? But then I had a girlfriend show it to me, and that movie is great.
No, I've seen it since, but it doesn't like Lilo and Stitch doesn't speak to me. And How to Train Your Dragon and Lilo and Stitch, those don't speak to me the same way.
Most
like
I hear is
Aladdin and
the most
Toy
I hear
Story
is that they're like, I'm tired of these
Yeah.
real life recreations of movies I already enjoy.
Well,
and they're doing it with Moana.
They're going to keep coming. Yeah, I haven't seen Moana 2 yet. But
Yeah, me neither.
Everyone says it's fine. You know the story about why Moana 2 is? Did we talk about it?
Yeah, it's a TV show.
It was a TV show, yeah.
And then they're like, make it a movie.
Everyone says it's fine. Everyone says the new Lion King that's coming out is good too.
It looks dumb. It's Scar. Again, there's no personality in the face of a lion. I'm sorry.
At least in Lion King, it's a new story. Like, it's not just a remake of the first thing.
They're going to make Scar sympathetic. That way, when you watch him kill Mufasa, you're going to be like, you know what? He had a good reason to do that.
And yet you're saying Wicked was a good movie.
It was great.
That's what Wicked is.
Wicked is so good.
That's the whole point
you know
of
what
Wicked.
they do in Wicked?
What?
A fun little dancing song.
Yeah.
But you know what was even better?
Have you seen the musical?
No, I've listened to the soundtrack before, but I have not seen. I would love to see it actually,
Yeah.
but I have not. They have a goat on it.
Yeah, it's Peter Dinklage.
It's Peter Dinklage. They have his little classroom set up with little buttons that he has to kick with his little goat legs, and that's how his classroom works.
That's fun.
He's got a teacup that has the imprint of his hoof on it so that he can pick it up and drink from it.
So really, you're all about anthropomorphic set design.
They go to a dance, and guess who the band was? A bunch of birds picking at xylophone keys. I was having the time of my life at that
Really?
stuff. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Watching,
Was it? Having not seen the musical, was it jarring? Like how it's a cutoff?
no.
No.
I mean, other than like, it's 2 hours and 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
And it's like, you didn't have to do that.
Apparently, it's 2 hours and 40 minutes. If you go see the actual full musical, the full musical is 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So
they definitely put in a lot more from the book.
I mean, I think when they did like Les Miserables was, I think, almost 3 hours, but the musical of Les Miserables is like 3 hours.
Yeah.
So like that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, point and point.
Yeah.
But this one,
Also, Les Miserables is an opera. They're singing the whole time.
I knew I liked this when they go to the Oz ball, where that's like their dance thing. That scene was when I was like, this is actually a really, really good movie. Ariana Grande is doing a fantastic job. And then that Cynthia, I think that's her name.
Yeah, Ervivo?
Yeah.
Erivo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know.
Alphaba.
Yeah.
She was doing fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, by all accounts, it looks
Then
good.
I realized I don't know any Ariana Grande songs. I don't think I've ever heard her sing. I think I just know her because she's famous. And
No,
now
she did.
I see her sing.
She did "Thank You Next." Thanks for your big penis, Pete Davidson. I'm going to write a song about it.
Nope, didn't listen to it.
It's a good song.
I don't care for Pete Davidson, and I don't care for Ariana Grande. So I was like, why would I listen to this song?
Fair enough.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now I'm all like, I'll watch more Ariana Grande and Wicked. And Kristen Chenoweth shows up.
Yeah, and I hear Idina Menzel's in it too.
And the wickedly talented
Adele Dazeem.
Adele Dazeem.
God.
And their part is so great. It's worth it just for that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm going to wait for streaming for that. Like, it's not something
Sure,
I feel
I
the
can
need
get
to.
that. But I would say it's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah. There's a movie that's coming out. Actually, I think it comes out the day this podcast comes out, which Kyle Mooney directed, Y2K. Have you seen the trailers for that?
Yeah.
That looks good.
I'm really excited.
Yeah, we should go see that. Talk about it for the show.
Absolutely.
I'd like a little silly horror movie.
Well, I just like Kyle Mooney.
Yeah, he's
He
very
did
funny.
The Brixby Bear. Mm-hmm. That movie is great.
Yeah. He did a recent YouTube short where he's saying what life was like in 1999.
Yeah.
And it's very funny and
that-
very of the time.
What?
It's
Oh.
like to like promote his new movie.
Yeah?
He just posted on his YouTube. It's great.
Okay, I want to have to watch that.
But also out that's new, I watched the first two episodes, both came out this week. The first thing was Skeleton Crew, the new Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's objectively good. It's the second best Star Wars TV show. First two episodes, probably since, well, definitely the best since Andor. But I'll stack it up there with the first two episodes of The Mandalorian. Like it just gets you in. It's Star Wars Goonies.
Oh yeah.
That's all it is. It's kids that are on a planet and they find an old ship, and there's a droid voiced by Nick Frost, and it's just very charming. And they go into space, and there's space pirates that are legitimate pirates that talk like pirates. That accent's never been in Star Wars before, but everyone talks like Pirates of the Caribbean now.
Okay.
And it's just great. Like the kid actors are good. It's very nice, like Goonies style fun. I think if you have some kids that actually like Star Wars, they should watch it. Like it's fun. And also, I just watched.
Interesting.
Came out today. The first two episodes of the first thing from the new DC universe, Creature Commandos.
Yeah. That's something that I'm interested in.
So Creature Commandos, it's written by James Gunn, and they tout that from the beginning. Like from the opening credits, it gives you character name voiced by everyone like that. It's something that James Gunn does really well with focusing and saying like this person is playing this person. Like it was never like Margot Robbie. It was like Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. So like he puts the
I see what you
character
mean.
like ahead of the actor.
He's doing the Hideo Kojima thing.
Yeah, you know what? Very much like Kojima.
Where it says Solid Snake and then it says David
Hayter.
Hayter.
Yeah. But he's in the opening credits where it says like written by James Gunn, and then it's like shows like animated James Gunn typing at a computer. And
That's funny.
so it takes place in the same universe as James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, because there's reference to Project Starfish, and Weasel's back in it, voiced by Sean Gunn again. Alan Tudyk does a voice. Alan Tudyk is one of the best voice actors in the world.
What an amazing dude.
Yeah.
He's like a good actor. He's a great voice actor. He's super funny.
He's in Moana too. He does the voice of the chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did it when he was on an episode of Comedy Bang Bang.
Yeah.
Going over his parts. So he just did his chicken right then and there. It's crazy how he could just do it.
Sean Gunn also does the voice of G.I. Robot, which is a hysterical character because he's just a robot that fought in World War II. And he always talks about how he misses killing Nazis and how he wish he could go back and shoot Nazis. And it's very funny. It's James Gunn's sense of humor.
Yeah, I gotta watch this.
It has a needle drop in it, and it's something that James Gunn excels at through all the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Obviously, that franchise was built on needle drops.
Yeah.
In episode 2 of this show, I don't want to spoil it, but there's a fight scene, and as soon as the music starts out, if you know that song that starts playing, I put it up there with Star-Lord dancing to Come Get Your Love and anything from Guardians of the Galaxy. The dance scene at the end with Florence and the Machine at Guardians 3. Like, just putting this on there. The animation is fantastic.
Okay.
Characters are great. If this is where James Gunn is going, like it opens with, there's a problem, and the problem is there's the sorceress, Cersei, and the men that are fighting to try to get to Themyscira. So they're like, you're in this universe. It's not like, what if this was all real? It's like, no. There's a sorceress shooting fireballs. Like, this is it's comic books. It's not grounded.
Yeah,
it's
that's what I felt when I saw the picture of Superman with Krypto, the Superdog, on the moon.
And as much as I like the Penguin, like Colin Farrell as the Penguin was great. Robert Pattinson, Batman, the Matt Reeves Batman universe. I want to see that continue as well.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
But also this shit, sorceresses.
Give me the fantastic
like there's
stuff.
the Bride of Frankenstein. There's Dr. Phosphorus, who's just a glowing skeleton that can burn people.
I love Dr. Phosphorus.
Yeah,
I thought he was one of the coolest designs.
Give me that shit. Like, give it
absolutely. Give me that shit.
Yeah, give me a Nazi fighting robot. That
I think
just wants
starting
to
it
kill
as
Nazis.
a cartoon is a fantastic move.
Yeah,
honestly, I think that tells people get used to the silliness because this stuff is a lot more bombastic than what
it's not grounded,
gotten used to.
It's fucking insanity, and it's very funny.
I
and
like
it's
just
TVMA.
like playing remember the Guardians of the Galaxy video game?
We did an episode about it.
They did. There's just one little conversation where they're just like, Thanos didn't really do this for the balance or whatever. He was just trying to impress Death, and I was like, this feels really good.
Yeah,
this is the stuff that brings them in line. They could have done that in the movie, and I would have been fine.
Yeah,
but they're like, that's too silly. And now James Gunn for DC is like, it's not just there's nothing really silly about what we're doing here. I mean, it's inherently silly, so enjoy that part of it.
It's definitely good, and I think the Bride is there, and Frankenstein's voiced by what's his name? David Harbour is playing Frankenstein, and he's kind of doing the voice he did for Red Guardian in the Black Widow movie, and also the upcoming Thunderbolts movie. But I mean, David Harbour's he's a fun guy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like his Hellboy voice, but now he's playing Frankenstein.
I think he was in a Frankenstein show.
Was he in a Frankenstein show?
Yeah, it was like a comedy on Netflix or something.
Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah. But I do like how this one, they go, one of my biggest pet peeves whenever they say, that people say Frankenstein, it's actually Frankenstein's monster. It's not really Frankenstein. This one, in the comic book Frankenstein, they make a point of that. I forget the writer who did it, but it's like, no, Frankenstein was his father. His last name is Frankenstein, so like his dad goes by Frankenstein. He also goes by Frankenstein, but they give him a first name. His first name's Edward. He's like, no one calls me Edward. Just call me Frankenstein. That's what Rick Flag gets called Flag all the time. So he's called Frankenstein. Stop being a pedantic dickhead.
I saw it on the internet like years ago, and it's like somebody says at the end of Frankenstein, I write after when he floats away on the iceberg, he yells back, and if you guys want to call me Frankenstein, that's fine.
Yeah. Well, I forget whose run of comics it was, but it was great. But it was just him saying that he's like, I don't want to be called the monster. I just took my dad's name.
Yeah.
Call me Frankenstein.
Everybody understands what you mean.
And I was just like, thank you for putting that bullshit to bed. But all right, let's get into our recs. God, we talk a lot when we're off for 2 weeks. We'll start with mine. My nomination for Jake is a nominee for the Game Awards this year for Best Art Director art direction, sorry. Best indie game and games for impact. Games for impact are games that promote some kind of social change or have a positive message, which this game does. It's a game called
absolutely
Neva, Neva.
Neva.
It is an amazing game. So I was looking through the Game Awards stuff. Jake, like he likes to gloat about, has gotten me to play more indie games.
Yeah, boy.
And seeing the Game Awards, I was just flipping through after I started playing Balatro a little bit. I saw this game, and then I watched a trailer for it, and it's put out by Nomada Studios is the developer, and then it was published by Devolver Digital. It is one of the most visually stunning games I think I've played in a long time.
Damn, brother.
When I talked about The Plucky Squire, that game's really cool, how it was like a storybook that came into the real world.
Yeah.
This is just like a storybook.
Yeah.
There was a game I talked about a while ago called Blanc. Did you ever play it?
No.
So Blanc, it's all black and white, but there are two characters. One's a fox and one's a deer, and you're just going through the snow. And it's kind of like an It Takes Two sort of thing where you're working to solve puzzles together.
I saw a trailer for that. Yeah.
Adorable game. But it's this great art style that's become popular, especially with indie games, where it's animation that is fluid. I think the first people, honestly, to do it really well were the South Park guys. When they made the Fractured But Whole and the Stick of Truth. Like the way that animation just was playable, but still looked hand-drawn.
Sure.
Was awesome. And this game is like that too. It's just really, it's a 2D platformer. It's a puzzle platformer. You play a girl named Alba, and you're followed up by her wolf that has tree antlers, Neva. Neva starts out as a pup. You start in the summer, and then it goes to fall and then winter, and Neva grows up. Eventually, you get to spring at the end of the thing. Whole game took me about 4 hours to beat. It's got great platforming, great puzzles. The combat is no fucking joke. Like, some of the bosses take you a couple tries to get through. But it does have a mode that you can just turn on to story mode. Yeah. And you can't take damage and stuff like that.
I like accessibility stuff like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, and for people that want to, because I think this is a game that, kids could play. Yeah. It gets a little bit dark, and you might need a little help with some of the puzzles, but the platforming is great in this game, too.
The platforming is really good.
There are some platform-based puzzles. If you like a good 2D, it's not a Metroidvania style game. It's a lot more linear than that, but it does have some good puzzle rooms, sort of like a early Prince of Persia almost. Like there's an air dodge attack and stuff like that. But the story of the game's pretty straightforward. There's no dialogue, really. You have a dedicated button where you can call Neva, and it's great. And
that's the dialogue mostly.
Were you playing on PlayStation?
No, I was playing on my Steam Deck.
PlayStation has great use of the speaker in your controller. Yeah, it's so good. Whenever you call Neva, it comes out through your controller. It's just awesome. There's like a black forest. It's like a fern gully situation. Like there's some poison in the land.
Yeah, something's coming and taking out all of the...
and you and Neva just kind of fight through and stop it. I really loved it. I knew Jake would love it too. I know Jake's going to give it a 3. Jake?
We're going to give it off the top.
Yeah.
It is a 3.
Yeah.
This game is really good.
Yes.
I have notes.
You have notes? I have notes as well. Let's go into notes.
One thing that I would say is while the art is beautiful, it does, at the detriment to the video game telegraphing. I lose my character sometimes, and sometimes it's really hard to see what I'm doing. I have notes. Okay. I'm not saying these are bad things. I'm saying that these are the things that I have observed.
I'm playing it on that 54-inch game, and it's gorgeous.
There's moments when I lose myself behind art in the foreground.
Yeah.
These things are disorienting.
See, I thought that was kind of a choice, because especially when you get into winter and everything's a whitened out or whited out black background.
But there's sometimes where it zooms out and it's pretty hard to see yourself. These things are just things that you could tell that this game was a game to be artful and just be like, experience the art of it. And I think that is good. So I would say that this is where you have to come in looking at it, is you want to experience the awesome music, atmosphere, and the greatest mechanic of all in this game is when you call Neva. Sometimes Neva gets hurt, and you go over to her and you give her a big old hug, and that's when she's back in play.
I have written in my notes, when Neva looks scared, it's heartbreaking.
When Neva's scared, and you go over to her and you give her a hug.
Yeah.
But
first of all, that dog that's laying right there hugs you just like that.
Oh, yeah.
He's scared right now because it's windy outside. And he's a big baby bitch boy when it's windy outside. But if he gets scared, you give him a big hug. Like I'm a sucker for anything when dogs are scared or getting hurt.
Yeah.
I talked about the issue of something is killing the children.
You went upstairs to turn off some stuff.
Yeah,
or
turn
whatever.
off the heat because it was blowing through everything.
And he had to come over to me and hang out with me while he was like, I don't know.
He's my
what's
little
going
Neva.
on. Yeah.
I love him.
But I knew they got the mannerisms of a dog really well.
Hugs kill me every time. I would go and just hug the dog. You could just do that.
I went. So, like, you're running, playing the game, and you start seeing these black pools everywhere.
Yeah.
And at one point, Neva just leans down and eats some of it, and then just throws it up.
Yeah.
That's when I just turned around and stared at him for a little bit. I was like, did you just eat that shit?
Yeah.
I was like, that is a dog. That is such a dog right there. And those are really great parts. The bosses look awesome. And those are probably the moments that shine the most mechanically for me, because I fail them, but it never feels frustrating.
No, it
feels like just learn the pattern of it, and then it's more, again, like its own platform puzzle that most of this game is,
right?
Which I love those a whole bunch. And you're just playing against something where I just love how these things look. It's something that's taking over the body of something that's beautiful, and just filling it, cramming it with these gross, mucky,
It's almost like a Last of Us thing, but it's like Last of Us Fern Gully, where they just like the monsters just like come, like it'll be like a stork,
toxic love,
and then it like has like a stork, mutant, like black goo hybrid. It's gross. The art style reminded me of two things. One, clearly they got a whole bunch of inspiration from Miyazaki and the Studio Ghibli films, because that's a lot of the art style. The monsters kind of look like fucking the Spirited Away, the Mr. No Face guy.
No Face
kind of has that vibe to it.
Yeah, sure.
The other thing that you were talking about with zooming in and zooming out on the 2D platform, it did a sense of scale with a 2D platformer, where when you're traveling across, the fields or whatever, it'll start to zoom out, and then when you get to where you're, something else is going to happen, it zooms back in. That reminded me a lot of my first playthrough of Ghost of Tsushima, because there are times in Ghost of Tsushima, especially when you get past the first like little area, where it opens up
Ghost
into
of
this.
Tsushima uses its third-person camera in like the best possible way.
So there's a moment after you beat the first act of that game where it opens up into a field and you're running through on your horse, and the whole camera just immediately pans out, and you're like, holy shit, look how gorgeous this whole world is. This does that in a 2D platformer, which I'm like, that's like, because I love games like Animal Well.
Have you played God of War Ascension?
No.
So there's a part.
I've only played the new God of War.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the fourth one, I believe it was, but you're fighting on top of a Titan while it's climbing a mountain.
Yeah.
And so it's like you can see yourself, and it's like an above camera, and you're just fighting in a big circle, killing things, and it just zooms out more and more to show you that you're on top of a Titan.
Kind of like a Shadow of the Colossus situation?
A little bit like that.
Yeah.
But you're watching this, and I was like, this is really cool. This looks great. It just keeps zooming out to the point where you're just a tiny little speck. You can barely see yourself. I'm like, I don't know. I'm losing. I'm getting attacked. I don't know what's happening here.
But the sense of scale for a 2D platformer is interesting.
That was really cool. Yeah. And there's just really cool visionary in the whole game.
Yeah, I think it's a great game. It's definitely something that'll be, I think it's like $15 now.
The problem was that I had is I picked up this game called Nine Souls at the same time.
Yes.
And I want you to check out a trailer for that.
Okay.
I am in love with this game. This game is...
that popped up in, I forget, maybe it was What Culture Gaming or something like that, but they were talking about how it just came out for PlayStation.
It is incredible.
Yeah.
It's so gorgeous, and the fighting is so crazy. I can't put it down.
Huh.
I think you'll love it. When you look at it, you'll be like, that, I could see how... It feels like Neva. Way that it's hand-drawn animation that is just...
I'll check it out.
It's crazy how violent it is.
I have a note on here that since this is on Switch, I think Neva should be in the next Smash Brothers game.
Just 'cause it's on Switch?
If you're the girl with the wolf, like, because there are times you're at the point in the game where you can like direct Neva, because you haven't beaten it yet.
Yeah.
But when you can like direct her, and then
And just
she like shoots off and
throw
like,
her out there.
Yeah, and like a missile.
Yeah.
And then you can do like double jumps and air dodge. I'm like, this is pretty. Then the last battle, one of the last ones before the epilogue, it literally takes place on a Smash Brothers style platform.
Yeah.
And the enemy is trying to knock you off.
Okay.
Because you can't get back up, and that's like a fail state.
I can see that.
So I was just like, this would be a great Smash Brothers character.
I just thought the only thing I thought when you said that, since it's on the Switch, it should be in Smash. I was like, the next person that should be on there is Hentai Sniper.
Hentai Sniper, Neva, Dave the Diver. These are all people in Smash Brothers. God, the Switch has all those weird games where you just like go to the store.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, I want to download this. Like, I think I played like Return of the Obra Dinn. And it's like, do you also want to download like Hentai Peekaboo Academy? And I'm like, no, what's happening at Nintendo? Like, why are these things here?
Dude, I don't get it. The floodgates are open.
I guess.
And it's wild.
Nintendo's suing a subreddit. Did you see that?
I think I heard something about that.
Switch Pirates is the r/Switch Pirates.
Oh,
I
guess I didn't hear anything.
They found
about
like the
this.
mods and like Nintendo's suing them.
Well, it's a community. You can't sue a community.
But you could sue people that are actively supporting it. Well, Nintendo tries to sue everybody. Did you hear their plan for the Switch 2?
No.
That was genius. So they
Backward
said
compatible?
no. Nintendo
that is genius.
It was touting this as their great marketing strategy for the Switch 2 when it comes out, because they said one of the big problems they had with the Switch is everyone was buying Switches and then scalping them and putting them on the internet at like giant markups, because the Switch was so hard to get when it first came out.
All right.
So when Nintendo said, we have a great idea, what if we just make enough to where people won't scalp them? And they put this out a press release, and it's like, just so you know, we have this great idea to combat scalping. We're going to make the everybody.
We're going to have a whole bunch.
Everyone's just like, yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, Nintendo, I think the whole thing was they were pissed off because Switches were selling for double the money.
Yeah.
So Nintendo's like, why don't we just sell 2 Switches? And everyone's like, yeah, man, like fucking just do that.
Yeah.
God forbid you make enough of the product that everyone wants it. But yeah, I don't know. Nintendo does weird stuff. All right, let's get into...
Just keep making good games. I'll try and keep looking the other way.
Yes. Neva, Mario, Hentai Sniper, whatever the hell else you got going on. Let's talk about Jake's rec for me. Half-Life 2.
Yes, sir.
So this is the 20th anniversary. Mm-hmm. Why'd you pick this one?
Well, as you know, I like to gloat how I got you to start playing more indie games.
Yep.
Well, what I'm thinking is you're starting to enjoy games for different things. And I wanted you to start seeing the other side of gaming.
Yeah.
Half-Life 2 is a groundbreaking game from Valve for many different reasons. Not just the technology that went behind it, but how it built the company of itself, but also how the theory that they have for developing games and just the team that they build to make these games. And they do a great job with the commentary, just discussing how they make these choices and how it affects the player and how they've come to these choices. And I would think that you would start to get a kick out of the development process in a game.
Yeah, so I had not played Half-Life or Half-Life 2 before.
Yeah.
This came out, it's 20th anniversary, so it came out in 2004. I'm trying to think what I was playing in 2004. I didn't have a gaming PC. Like when I went to college in 2005-ish, that was the first time I had high-speed internet, and I just had my own little laptop. I never really had a gaming PC. I was running like Counter-Strike barely. And
I had a PC that could barely run Half-Life 2.
yeah.
Yeah.
So my computer now can't run Half-Life 2. Fucking $1,400 Apple laptop says try to download Half-Life 2 on Steam. It's just like, we can't figure this out. Like, why am I fucking paying you? Whatever. So I hadn't played these games before. I think the closest thing I got to these was I did play Portal. I came late to Portal. I only played Portal and Portal 2 like 3-4 years ago when they came on Switch, and they were like $1.99, I think.
Okay. Orange box style?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I think Portal started as a in the Half-Life 2 engine, if I'm not mistaken, as like a physics test.
No.
Right?
No. So what it was this college team that were putting together a video game where you save a princess in a castle, but you had to use these teleporters. Mm-hmm. And the technology behind the teleportation was so cool that Valve was like, would you guys like to come with us to make a game for us?
Right.
And they're like, yeah. So they were hired on to the Valve team.
So they were brought in because of their cool...
They're brought in because they're really cool technology. And then they're like, you can work with the rest of our team. We have great writers. We have great designers. And we have,
so it was
great gameplay theory. And then that was actually the first... I played through that game, Portal, and I loved it. And then I replayed through it with the commentary on. And then there was just awesome insight into how to make a game that I was just losing my mind about.
So this brings up... So I don't really have much to say about Half-Life 2 as a game.
Right.
Obviously,
mostly I wanted to talk about is game development.
So what I'll get into.
Yeah.
Since you recommended this, if you just recommended that I play Half-Life 2, it would have gotten a 2. It's fine. I mean, I played it for about 4 hours. I got through, I think, the first main action-y sequences.
Okay.
On the fan boat, fighting the helicopter, doing all that shit.
I would say that's a good chunk.
Yeah, I mean, it's enough to where, one, playing on the Steam Deck, we talked about this, I hate playing on the Steam Deck. I don't know, it's just weird. It's clunky for me.
Yep, we got to get your Steam Deck, Doc.
And for some reason, I couldn't play it on my computer, like I just mentioned. And they didn't have the 20th anniversary with the commentary on the PlayStation. So, yeah, that's just a 2. I mean, it's fine. It's one of those things. I forget what it reminds me of. I think it's like when you had me watch Spirited Away, and I saw so many things that were influenced by that. When you go back to the original, and also the Long Goodbye.
Yeah,
I saw so many things that have been influenced by that going back to the original, I'm just like, yeah, I get it. Like it's nothing. it's not novel. Like if I had played Half-Life 2 20 years ago, the way that you can like pick up a box and move it around,
right?
That would have blown my fucking mind when I was in high school.
I could see that.
If I had seen that.
Right.
The destructible environment, stuff like that. Like I remember when I got Metal Gear Solid 2 for PlayStation 2 in the tanker, there's a place where you can shoot flour, like a bag of flour, and it puffs up. Yeah. And I did that for probably 30 minutes because I was just like, this is the fucking future. Like it's such a leap. And Half-Life 2 was that, but I only saw things that came out afterwards, so I have no... I have no nostalgia for this. I'll go back and play the original fucking Dark Forces.
I would think that what comes with the commentary is about how the novelty of it was baked in to be a part of the game, where the design of it was what was coming through to make it timeless.
Yes.
The battles and the set pieces are really cool.
Right. So it's one of those things where, like, I don't have nostalgia for the original Doom because I played the first Dark Forces game, which was basically a Doom clone with stormtroopers.
Right.
So I've played so many things that were basically, you could tell were ripped off from Half-Life 2, but I played the things that ripped them off, and I have nostalgia for those things, nothing for this. The fact that this came out, so when you get the 20th anniversary edition, which is $1.99 on Steam, it's worth it. It has these little icons that are just little like ... speech bubbles scattered throughout the map, and you click it, and it goes to a commentary where someone on the development team, I don't know anybody's name, but they're all heavily involved either in the design, the narration, the story. Someone from a certain part of that is speaking while you still get to play the game. It doesn't cut away. It doesn't stop you. It just kind of like peeps in to what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's novel to me because I've never played a game like that.
Right.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So great.
Yeah, right?
So great.
Fucking knew it, dog.
So great.
Hell yeah.
If there was one of these for video, like, because I love, I know
director's commentary shit.
Fucking physical media, Jake.
Yep.
I know you would love this. I love watching movies with the director's commentary.
It's so fun when you watch a great movie and then you're like, what did the director think about this stuff? Or what did people think about when they were doing this movie?
You know who got me to fall in love with director's commentaries?
Boom.
Kevin Smith.
Yeah?
He did it better than anyone because right when like Dogma and Chasing Amy were coming out on DVD, he was one of the first people to like fully embrace like...
Did you watch Orgasmos? They have drunk commentary.
Oh, jeez, of course they did. Regardless, but Kevin Smith made me fall in love with director's commentary. And there has to be someone... Like, it helps with Kevin Smith, who's a good speaker. Like, he... you know,
that's true.
He has passion for the work. The Half-Life people... One, they're talking about something they did 20 years ago, so there is that kind of disconnect. And also, they're not the most articulate, entertaining people.
No.
Like sometimes you click on it.
This is such a niche thing, and it's so hard to get people to understand how.
But what do we always do on the show? The more, if you're passionate about something, like it's interesting.
Absolutely.
This is such a great way to play the game where I would just be like walking. So you open up, if you haven't played Half-Life 2, you're a dude. You're Mr.
Gordon Freeman.
You're Jimmy Half-Life.
Gordon Freeman.
Jimmy Half-Life. So you're Jimmy Half-Life, and there's a problem. Apparently there's a war, and there's like bugs that kind of look like the bad bugs from Oddworld. And
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
The Vortigons.
Yeah. So there's something going on, and something was bad, and somehow Jimmy Half-Life was brought into it, and then he did something in Half-Life 1.
Yeah.
I don't know. But he shows up at a train. It's a fucking Hogwarts situation where he shows up at the terminal, and I'm just like, this looks fucking dumb.
Wake up and smell the ashes.
Yeah, it's kind of like the opening of Skyrim, where it's just like, oh, good, you're awake, except you get off a train, and you're like, oh, all right. I don't know.
But you're talking to a guy who talks really weird.
Right. And there's
G-Man is such a cool character.
There's a fucking V for Vendetta guy in the corner telling you, oh, everything's great. Don't worry about anything. And you're like, I bet that guy's not great.
Yeah.
I get it. I know what he's about. And then you
have
click
chosen or been chosen to come to.
Right. It's very cliche. I'm sure it was great 20 years ago. It's very cliche
great.
now. I'm sure. Very cliche.
How is it cliche?
Because it's been done
Tell me another game that did that.
Not games, but just that whole motif.
Oh yeah,
sure. This dystopian nonsense. It's fucking Hunger Games.
And watching
it's everything.
a monitor move in real time on a video game, that shit was novel back in the day.
I understand. It's not back in the day. I'm talking about the commentary.
Go ahead.
But then the fact that someone like pops in and be like, well, we wanted people to know our physics engine, so we have all this trash that blows around, and there's a force that comes off of the player exiting the train that makes the trash blow, and you're like, oh shit. And then you'd like look down and be like, look at that trash.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, and we wanted players to be able to interact and pick things up. And I was like, I can pick that up. And then you just go and you like pick up, and it's like, and this is a puzzle where we wanted the player to put this in the trash can to show them they could put it in the trash can. So we had the bad policeman tell people to put away the trash.
Pick
and you're just
can.
like, And I was just like, oh shit. And you're going in through that. And there's sometimes where like there's a puzzle where it's like water displacement. And I was just like fucking around. I'm like, what the hell is this dumb little puzzle? And you click on the thing, and the guy's like, so we noticed some people were having trouble figuring out this puzzle. I'm like, hey, dick, I was. He's like, so we try to usher the player into this. And just going through and the stuff you take for granted in game design, and I'm sure this goes without saying for most people, but just me being a selfish dickhead, if they had this for fucking Red Dead Redemption 2, oh my God. I would play that through nonstop, where like the small little details now that it's something you don't notice until someone points it out, until someone that says, we wanted you to know that you could pick things up. So we had to do this to teach you this thing, and we wanted to teach the player. It's something that playing video games for so long is just so inherent, where it's just like, I don't know why I'm doing that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you just don't know how much you're influenced by how much control that you're giving it.
Exactly.
And it's fun to hear somebody explain to you, is like, no, you're doing exactly what we've designed for you to do.
And the amount of testing that goes in through it, where they talk about how the...
Yes, the testing is probably my favorite part, is the information that they glean from these types of things.
There's something about like 3 hours in where the guy in the commentary calls it the washing machine puzzle, where you're trying to lift up a thing, so you have to like push a washing machine into something that'll like offset that because it weighs it down. And then he says, like, we have some people that would, have to eventually show them how to do this. So we had to keep reworking it until there was something like, he said, like 80% of people could figure it out on their own, because he wants to make the game. I guess you're walking this tightrope where you want the game to be hard. It's kind of like what we were talking about with Neva. You want it to be hard, but you don't want it to be dickish like fucking Dark Souls, where it's just like, no, we want you to fail at
They
this.
have great commentary about how you need to have a failure state, because it is a game. And they say that what they glean from test plays is like, sometimes when a character dies and they see that the person playing is laughing, they're like, we're doing a good job.
Right.
It's like they're losing because they're trying and they're ready to try again.
Right.
It's like, that's a big part of gaming.
Yeah.
And I never thought of it that way.
The amount of care that these people put into this game.
Yes.
Half-Life with the director's commentary gets a 3.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I knew that's the way to get you to play it.
Yeah, dude, good call on that. Because if you had just had me play this fucking shitty Steam Deck in this old game, I would have been like, I don't like this at all.
Yeah, I could talk to you about all the cool shit in it, but it's not as good as when they talk about it.
If I had just played that without the commentary at all, it might have been a 1, because I would have been like, this is nothing. Like, I'm sure it was great 20.
Yeah,
like, I could have shit on
2. You don't even know any of the characters.
No, but they bring that up in like the opening scene at the train station. They're like, okay, so there's a bug man. There's a District 9 and he's got a push broom. And like, we want people to know that they're not the bad guys anymore. So we've got District 9 bug with a push broom, and there's a mean guy like watching him with a gun. And then the player knows that he's a push broom good guy.
You know who voices the Vortigots?
The District 9s?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Tony Todd. Rest in peace.
I don't know who that is.
He died. He's Candyman.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
He does a great job.
Yeah.
In this game.
There was a weird bit of commentary where they're talking about the female,
Alex.
And it's like, we're talking about character. I don't know why everyone sounds like this, but everyone kind of sounds like this. They're like, we didn't want her to be too attractive that it was distracting. And I was like, okay, man. Yeah. I feel like you thought about this. It's like, we wanted her to be attractive, but not so much where players would get distracted during. I was like, dude, come on. Where do you think these nerds are going?
Where do you think those nerds went?
Yeah, they went there.
Can mod this game.
It's Rule 37. It's out there.
It's awful.
Yeah. But yeah, it's fun. I think this is a fun way to play games. I think more games should have this.
It's not Rule 37.
Isn't that?
No, it's Rule 23.
I don't think so.
I think it's Rule 23.
We're talking about the rule where if it exists, there's porn of it, right?
Dude, people still use that? That is old.
Yeah, I'm old.
Dude, at work, I made a narwhal baconing at midnight joke.
Oh, Rule 37 of the internet is there are no girls on the internet. Which one is the porn rule?
Rule 34.
Is it Rule 34?
Yeah, it's Rule 34. Got it.
God, we're old.
Got it.
Rule 34.
No, I'm still funny. The kids still think I'm funny. All you have to do is bring up, man, did you guys see how Baby Gronk called out the Rizzler?
Rule 34 of the internet, if it exists, there is porn of it.
Yep. Rule 35 of the internet, if there is no porn of it, there will be porn of it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is fun. More games should do this.
Yes, I agree.
I think
the first time that I experienced this, where it had commentary from the development team, was for the game The Suffering. The Suffering was a really good horror game.
Yeah.
I played it on the PlayStation 2. And when you beat it, you unlock the proposed alternate beginning. And in it, if you jump on the crow that's there, you unlock the director's commentary. And he talks about how they decided to cut this scene because they thought it was a really cool scene.
Interesting.
But they wanted to leave more to the imagination going through. Yeah, I was like, this is awesome. This is the type of stuff I wish every game would let you beat it and then be like, play it again. You can listen to some commentary or just like, let me play commentary anyway.
I definitely think this is a fun thing. Like it's definitely cool.
Yeah. Worth it for the $2.
Yeah. For the $2, yeah, it's definitely fun. I mean, I got like 5. I'm probably not going to beat the game. But I mean, it was interesting. Well, the main thing was it got me jazzed that if another game comes out that they say we have developer commentary.
Portal's got it. And Portal's commentary is fantastic.
I love Portal 2 is the one with Stephen Merchant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one's great.
I haven't played that one.
It's good. I have it on my Switch. It's great. So yeah. So double threes starting out episode 101.
Yeah, man.
Starting pretty strong. Neva and Half-Life 2 with the commentary.
Yeah,
just regular Half-Life 2 it's fine. Yeah. I'm sure it was great in 2004.
It's definitely one of the best games.
It's not great now.
It's a great game.
I mean,
it's still a great game. Yes, it is. Yes.
I will say this. It holds up better than a lot of games from that era do.
Where if you don't go and be like, this isn't Jurassic Park. I can see how Jurassic Park got it from this.
First of all.
And you can play it for what it is. Like we talk, if you meet a video game where it expects you to meet it.
Where it was
you're
2004.
You're going to have a fantastic time with it.
Yeah. In 2004, I'm sure it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This movie ain't in color.
It's so cool, though. It's so cool with the director's commentary.
Absolutely,
it's fun. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for listening to the show. I want to thank our buddy's brother Bill for letting us use their theme music. If you want to get in touch with the show, first of all, tag us if we're in your Spotify Wrapped. That's cool. You might get a cool gift.
Yeah.
holiday gift from us, non-denominational holiday gift. If I get it out by December, or a January gift.
Nope, it's a Denali gift now.
Or a
Happy Denali.
You mean Diwali?
Diwali.
It's over.
No.
Denali's a truck.
I think you're in Denali about what the name of this.
At the very least, it's going to be an early Valentine's Day gift from the podcast.
There it is.
So yeah, do all that stuff. If you want to get in touch with the show, upyouralleypod at gmail.com for all that stuff. Let's figure out what we're going to be talking about next week. Jake, what do you got?
I got something that I want you to listen to.
Okay.
It's a podcast.
Oh boy. Is it Blind Boy?
It's called Blind Boy. I just started listening to it. I wasn't paying attention at all.
That's what you've been doing this whole time.
No, it's called Hey Riddle Riddle.
Hey Riddle Riddle?
Mm-hmm. Hey Riddle Riddle. It's got John Patrick Cohen, Adil Rafai, and Aaron Keefe as they try and solve riddles. But they are improvisers, so they get inspired to do little scenes, and they also hate the hell out of riddles.
Oh boy.
Yep. It's a great funny episodes.
I don't know who any of those people are.
I would
but I'll
say
check them out.
I like making people laugh a whole bunch,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm compared to comedians a lot. And the one that I would say that I would agree.
You are, because people are like, why can't you be funny like this person?
Mostly like that.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're not Jack Black enough.
Yeah.
But this time they're like, you remind me of John Patrick Cohen, and I listen to him, and I'm like, yeah, me and JPC kind of have a
Did you happen to
brain
watch
bond going.
Anthony Jeselnik's stand-up special?
No,
Check
but
it out.
I know I heard
Check
a
it out.
couple of good jokes from it.
Check it out.
I can't believe that's not on my rec, dude.
No, because I told you about it, and I was like, it's coming out. I didn't want to wreck it because I hadn't seen it, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
watched it the day it came out. It's great.
Yeah, that's true. That's got to go on the list.
It's in my top 5 comedy specials of the year.
I saw one joke, and I was so in love with him.
Was it
right after that?
Sperm donor joke?
No.
Oh, what joke was it?
It was, I'm not a fan of cancel culture.
Oh, yeah. He has a pretty good bit
That's
about
my
that.
impression of a shit comic trying to get on Rogan.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
He's pretty great. He ends it with a great Norm Macdonald story, which is fucking fantastic. All right, I have a documentary for you to watch, Jacob.
Oh.
New documentary coming out strong. If you listen to our last episode about how many documentaries I watch, I think I was 26% documentaries.
Yeah, you're mostly documentaries.
And mostly documentaries. Well, I'm coming back at it because this is a great documentary. It is on a subject that I thought I was sort of ambivalent towards, and then watch this documentary and have a whole newfound just appreciation and joy for a subculture. Oh. It is a documentary available to watch now on Max. Came out a couple weeks ago. It is called Yacht Rock, a documentary.
Oh, I saw a
so this
saw a little thing about this.
This is a documentary, Yacht Rock, a documentary, documentary. Get it? Like a yacht.
I'm not excited.
Dude, okay, so this is basically it's Steely Dan and Toto and Michael McDonald and Kenny Loggins.
Steely Dan's amazing.
Right. Trust me, you're going to love Steely Dan more after this
Kenny
documentary.
Loggins is pretty great.
This has great interviews with people like Christopher Cross, Kenny Loggins, Michael McDonald, all the guys from Toto.
Crisscross.
Christopher Cross. He's very serious. He wrote Sailing, man. That song rules. And it is just great story, but then it also brings in people that were influenced by Yacht Rock.
Yeah.
Special little cameo by the guys from De La Soul are in it. Questlove's in it.
Yeah.
It's just a really well-made documentary. I didn't know a lot about Yacht Rock or even why it's called Yacht Rock. They go into that.
This is great.
It's so good.
I'm excited.
And you're going to...
I love De La Soul.
Yeah. So Yacht Rock, it's available to stream on Max. Jake's going to watch that. I'm going to listen to a couple episodes of Hey Riddle Riddle, the podcast. Jake, episode 101 is in the books. Thanks for coming over. Love you, buddy.
I love you, buddy.
Should I play the opening?
I want you to just play both of them at the same time. Don't you dare.
I can't play them both at the same time.
Play a sad trombone.
All right.
Sorry, everybody. Nine Souls.